Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from my location. Happy Sunday to all the women in Biafrans. I thank you all and I welcome you all in this hallowed platform this wonderful afternoon. Depend on your own location. Accept my warming greetings to you all. I thank you for being here in this hour, and I also thank you for standing tall. My regards to my DPM, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze. Good afternoon from my location. My warming greetings to my Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, and my warming greetings to Mazi Nnamdi Okwu, the President of United States of Biafra, and my Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa Njoku. Accept my warming greetings to you all. Chigozie, thank you so much. Good afternoon, happy Sunday. Happy to see you. Thank you so much. One love, my brother. Yes, my greetings to all the Biafrans that stand tall on our fundraising yesterday, who donated with all their hearts and with their widow mind. I want to thank you all for standing tall and doing what you can do to make sure that the movement of the people of Biafra becomes a right of us. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Chigozie. Thank you. Yes, it's an avenue for us to do more for the movement of Biafra in Bahrain here. We are not hiding ourselves. Because I don't think anybody can do. Now we have a government that is very effective. It's no longer time to hide face. Nothing. Because we are not against anybody. We are not preaching against any country. We are only making a position to prove to the world that those things you hide from us, that we have laid our hand on it. And we are not going to stop, because he said it's our own inalienable right to choose our government, to choose our country, to choose our political structure, to choose everything on us, about us, and govern ourselves. And to use all of you example and the histories of how many countries have achieved it is what we are doing, nothing more than that. That is exact what we are doing at this stage. We also trying to let them to know that those things that people has used and achieved their own, that they keep in the hiding from us, because if the world are not keeping all these things in the hiding, they could have been the one to be educating people. When they see people like Biafran people and said, we have made a declaration, or they have to be educating people how you can achieve it despite another thing. But because of the mindset of the corrupt leaders that never want people to have their freedom, that is why they hide everything about no country. That is why they hide it. That is why they don't want us to know the criteria, the areas we have to follow for us to achieve it, and the area we have to follow to do what? For us to get our own freedom peacefully without all the time and without killing one another. But today, we thank God that we may find some of those things, and I try to educate myself the same way I try to lay it out to my people for us to see how we can go. And the most important part of it is that this 21st century, 21st century started from 2001 and is going to end 2100. That is 21st, the era of 21st century. 21st century started from 2001, is going to end in 2100. We are in 2026. That is what they call 21st century. After that one, you enter 22nd century. So in this 21st century, the road to freedom has changed automatically. Praise Biafra son. Good afternoon from my location, and happy Sunday to you all, and a happy recognition in advance. I thank you for being here like you always do. Thank you, because all your comments is encourage me to do what I'm doing here, and coming here to know that all of you are here, it gives me more power. So in this 21st century, I want Biafrans to understand, we cannot run away from the truth and facts. We can't. And what we are thinking that is the way of this freedom, they are trying to let us know that it's not that way. When you look at the words of Mazi Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, who said that Biafra will come from diaspora, you can see something. Triple M, Onyeziokwu, good afternoon and happy Sunday. Abarosia, good afternoon and happy Sunday. Thank you so much. I want to use my opportunity to also tell Biafrans in Bahrain that we have started movement of our head mission. You can hear from our DPM yesterday. Contact me. The government of USU has given us a task that we must do. I am here to make sure that Biafrans in Bahrain understand they will have a government, why you have to support our government. So if you're in Bahrain, contact me. If you go to our S handle of our DPM, you will see the contact of I always say it in the open. I am not hiding. I am not in the hiding place. Contact me on number if you're in Bahrain watching. Contact me on number +9 7 3 3 60 51 337. That is my number, my WhatsApp number that we are using for the movement. The government appointed me yesterday to lead mission head of Bahrain. So please join me. Let us do it together. Let us follow in this history making. Remark the word from our DPM yesterday. When you are giving 1 naira, save your receipt, because in future, those money will be sent back to you. That is why when I tell the world, or Biafrans, or those who claim one Nigeria, that we are bringing a contract, we give you a child benefit, from only your child benefit that you can use and build house and become somebody. That is the contract we are bringing to you. That is the contract Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mas Simon Ekpa, Dr. Ngozi Arabez, and including you on the comment section, are fighting to bring back. That is why we have declared, we have resurrected Biafra back in a legal way, that the world will see how serious we are. Yes, all these prophecies of our leader, Colonel Dim Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, our prime leader, our prime leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, comes to pass. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We stand in USB, and Biafra has come with 1 or 2 deep, in-depth things I find out by myself. That is why I need to wait patient and keep us, so don't mind us, we're on the right track. And we are not on the right track. Very, very soon, one nigga no corner Otunubu Nandida recognition na Otto. And young man with what I'm seeing, with what the government is doing. today, they have extended more. Our DPM, I don't know whether this one will be in the fundraising, wrapping things up also. The new movement is massive. If you check the history, they said that the Biafra movement, the Biafra discussion is on the rapid movement in the world. You see, look at that word, rapid. If you have handled Igwe before, you know when Igwe and Apia, no, that is how they are discussing Biafra right now because of the way the government of USB have channeled the movement. Do not doubt it. I'm telling you the gospel truth. So, join this movement, make this history, save your receipt. Save it because all you spent in due time, in the nearest future, will come back to you. Imagine the kind of government that we are building, that you're working for, that asking to keep all the document of what you spent on this movement. That is why you will know the real government that you are building and the government that is for you, for the people who will care for you. That is what we are doing. That's what government is doing. So please, as you join me, like and share the program. Like you see our brother Chris Biafra always do. We tell you, please hit the like button. If it is your first time coming, or when you are going to watch for the first time, there is a 3 dots in front of your right hand side on your phone. Click on that 3 dots, it will open. You will see like and share. Why do you have to share the program? Once you share, you are sending notification to others to come and join us to listen, for us to educate ourselves. The Biafra we are looking for on things that are happening is not what we really plan is and how we want it, is how we are going to get it. Because there is laid down principle, there is laid down existing protocol that we cannot jump. And if we try to jump it, the world will tag us rebel, the world will tag us violence, the world will tag us names that are very bad. That is why when I keep on hitting on this word, that is why our DPM leave all of us and go into legal fully to prove to you. With that legal, nobody can arrest her. Do you know the essence of registering Biafra in the Department of Justice of America? For them to monitor all that we are doing, even the fundraising, they are monitoring it. So when you come about Biafra and everything, the government of America are monitoring the movement of the USB, all the fundraising, all we are spending, all our movement, they are watching. If they withdraw in that account, they know, and they will see where the money is going to. And they said that when Nukon is being declared, that you will change the name of your fundraising to humanitarian fundraising. The legal supported humanitarian fundraising. That is, they said after you have declared your new country, that you will change the name of the normally used before to come in line, to tango with the world movement, that you will change it from the name it has been called before to what? To humanitarian fundraising. And that is what the government is doing. Our people are our low IQ, our I2 know, and how we think it is also part of what is learned. That is why you see all these saboteurs here and there. That is why you see all these enemies here and there. That is why you see those people that are making mockery of themselves, those that are doing themselves more harm than good. These are the things that I want you to know. These are the things that we all, at this stage that we are into, must understand. It's no longer what I think. Look at our DPM. She is not doing what she's saying. That is why Biafra is on the rapid movement in the world discussion. Because she is doing what legal wants. And they said, when you declare a country in exile and you are working towards legal, allow legal to guide you, you are a state actor. But when you are going through military, you are non-state actor. Do you see it? The same thing, they tag somebody who is over long agitating for so long. These are the things that we need to know by ourselves, so we can stop fooling ourselves. We can stop doing ourselves more harm than good. I want you to know this more. We're discussing this morning. The question our sister gave us to research and find out, Asatina, about questions people are asking, those non-entities. Can a country be declared in another man's country? That is why what we are here today to answer. And it show you countries that has been another man's country and declared their country. And today they are the country, both in the old and in this 21st century. For you to know that what we are thinking, what many of us are narrating, is not a road. That is why when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu set eyes on Mas Simon Ekpa, he said that he has come to do what? To bring a new dimension. The new dimension is when we start hearing about Montevideo Convention. The first time all of us have heard about Montevideo Convention is from the mouth of Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku, the new dimension that leads to declaration, that leads to recognition, for you to have become for you to possess your territory. I hope you are following. And I hope you are listening. So, we want to go in and answer that question that our sister asked us to find out under the international level. Anything about this movement that we're into must be legal and international law. If it's not, we are going to wait like people of Northern Cyprus. If it is not, we are going to wait for people like Somaliland. If it is not, we are going to wait for like many other countries in the world today. After the declaration, they did not, today, no international community of members of UN has recognized them because of they did not follow legal way. Because from 2001 to 2100 is going to be the first century. It will end in 2100. The first century will end. And the other way around. Oh God, what is this now? Sorry, my people. Sorry about that. We are back. I hope you can hear me, my people. I have somebody just interrupted on the gadget that we are using on the phone. Please, I hope I hope you can hear me. We, the people of Biafra, stand on our mandate of our declaration that Biafra is the only way. Thank you so much, Abarosia. Thank you. Biafra is the only everlasting solution. Have our own country, maintain our culture, maintain our religion, maintain who we are is the best option. Bishop, you're welcome. Coaches 042, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Coaches, I thank you for all your support for USB. In every fundraising, you are there. You, despite where you are. Coaches, you are. Whatever I remembered you and all you are doing, honestly, I want to come back in the Biafra and see Coaches 042. Just have that emotional hug with all the Biafras in this comment section. Nigeria is a death sentence. I don't want Nigeria. Nigeria is evil. I am from United States of Biafra. We are declared that are seeking for international recognition. My people, the truth must be told. We don't want quick action that will not be everlasting solution. We have given the world everlasting solution. That all we needed is what? Biafra as our own country. So we can be able to stop the corruption that is going on. Stop the ongoing genocide that is going on. So today, we are here to those who are asking questions. We want you to come close. Who are asking, how could you declare a country in another man's country? How could you declare country in another man's country? As if we are the one. As if we are the first people. We have checked in the era of the colonial master. Poland, Netherlands, Belgium, many of them, France, Israel was being declared, India was being declared in another man's country. Declaring a country in another country, they call it what? Secession, remedial secession, external, not internal. Declaring a country in another country is allowed under the international community laws. That is how it goes. And that is why we want those that ask us questions, that is, please share this program to those one Nigerians who are making mockery of themselves, that could not bend down, use their phone to ask that question on their phone. Just even on the Google, type, can a country be declared by another country? Can a new country be declared in another man's old country? Type it and find the answer by yourself. Not just to ask questions that makes you to look like a big moron. It is very important. The time we're into, like I always said, it's no longer a time for me to think that this is how I must do it, then I will become a country. No. There is those that are there before us. That there is how they got recognition. That is how they become a country. That is guideline. That is the protocol. That is the rules. That is the template. That is what the template. And the template of the world begins immediately. You make real declaration or you make declaration of a new country. Once you make this declaration, automatically, your template must be the international community guideline. If you refuse, the world will keep silent on you. That is why from the movement of Somaliland started in 1981. The movement of Somaliland started 1981. 1991, they stood up, make their official declaration. Now, when you count from 1991 to 2025, you find out how many it is. Now, when you ask on Google, why did the international recognition of Somalia wasted time? Type it on the phone. I come here for us to, I don't just come to make a history. Yes, I am talking about that from 1991 they made their declaration. They did not get any international recognition by any member of the UN to recognize them. That is what they call international recognition. So calculate from 1991 to 2025 that Israel give them international recognition. How many years it is? That is when we talk about Biafra. That is where now the Somaliland is supposed to be the headway for your mind to rethink that it is possible for you to achieve a country inside a country, to pull out from a country like Nigeria. Do you know up to today that another country is dragging South Africa? They want to pull out from South Africa. After Namibia pulled out from South Africa, 1990. So check very well. Nothing is impossible in this world. Everything is possible in this world. Look at the possibility of things and look at the negative side. Stop looking at negativity. We are not going to be the last government in exile. Being in exile means governing from another country. And that word exile could not educate your mind. You want to come and ask, can a country be declared in another country? And when you talk like that, when you say such a thing, you see a book, you have asked a question. That is why we are here to tell you that it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. So, the people of United States of Biafra has made up their mind and make our choice. We have determined on our inalienable rights. We have determined on our inalienable rights. We have determined on our inalienable rights. We stand on the mandate of our inalienable right to form our government, our alliance, to govern ourselves like many other countries in the past. That is why I said, we are not going to. We are not going to run away from the truth. And we will stand to achieve our new country. That nobody will stop us from achieving it. We want to see today how it's possible for you to achieve for you to declare a country in another man's country. That is why we are here today, and that is why what we want to prove to the world, that it is possible. That is what one let the world to know. And like they asked us to do, that we are doing that without wasting any time, without hesitating. And we have understand our rights. In Igbo adage, they do say, "Nwata choba nke ya, ase akpụ ya." When a child is looking for what belongs to him or her, people around him or her will hate him or her. That is where we find ourselves. But the question is, because of people hate this child asking what belongs to him or her, is he going to stop asking? The answer remains no. That he will continue until he finds what belongs to him or her. That is where we are today. Your envy, your hatred, your propaganda, your insult, your attack could not stop anything. Because in the past, those have passed this road that we are passing has gone through that names that you are calling, and through those you are insult and all those you attack. And the attack from their people did not stop them from achieving their country. How do you think that is this our time that we attack after we have read all these things that happen to other countries in the world, that you attack will stop this movement? That means that we are not prepared. But now that we have prepared ourselves more than the way we are before, that is why I want you to know that there is no amount of your attack, there is no amount of your gossip, there is no amount of Ngozi Rabu Fulani, Ngozi Rabu Boro, Ngozi from Jigawa, Ngozi from this. It bears no fruit. It yields no fruit. Rather, you are disgracing yourself, making mockery of yourself, and the world are watching at you and call you a joker. Calling her Ngozi Rabu Fulani is not her name. The world never recorded her or know her as Ngozi Rabu Fulani, Ngozi Rabu terrorist, Ngozi Rabu this, Ngozi Rabu that. He's working for Nigeria agent. Is it not the same that was but IPOB being said to Master Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister, who you claim you love? Sorry for you, because you are not listening and you are not flowing the rightful way, and you are not using normal. You are hatred, you are envy, you are jealous, your propaganda can never stop, because declaration standing on the legal side remains sovereignty. Nobody born of a human being, because those have passed through this road in the past, they all went through what we, the government of USB, is passing through today. They all went through that the same road. So that is why we must stand strong and stand tall, to let the world know that we stand on our mandate. We stand on our inalienable rights. We stand on a self-determination of remedial succession, the last option for those who have been marginalized and those who they have cascaded out to kill by all of them. That is why it is very important for we all to understand that what we are doing, it is the right of the people, and the right of people cannot come very easily like that. There is many things that follow people's rights. It causes pain and sorrow, agony. And that is what we are passing through today. That is why I want every well-meaning Biafran to stand on this mandate of our declaration. Do not panic. That is why we're here to give you a solution to the answers. When they ask you, can a country be declared in another man's country? The answer is fully what? Yes. The answer is what? Fully what? Yes. That is what it is. There is no two ways about that. And there is nothing anybody can do to stop it for being reality. You can't stop it. And the truth is always bitter. And you know that Hadaino comes at last. Part of why we are here is to prevent you from Hadaino. To prevent you from crying Hadaino. Do not say I did not tell you. Do not say I did not warn you. That is why I am here laying my voice out to you to understand how all these things work perfectly. Be very assured that we are on the right track. So now going into the question of the day, or the programs of today, is where we are going right now. Let us know if it is allowed to declare a country in another man's country. John, you're welcome. Yes, so thank you so much. Happy Sunday. And happy recognition in advance. The first question we are going to look at into this morning, for the question our sister, our beloved sister, Ijele Wine, Tina, sent to us to find out is, can a country be declared in another man's country? That is the program of today. And now the program begins, because I always take my 30 minutes to do my intro before I start. So you know how we do it here. Listen and find out if a country can be declared in another man's country. Listen.
In international law, the process of one territory declaring itself independent from another country is known as secession. The short answer is yes, a territory can declare itself a country, but whether that declaration is legal or successful depends on a complex tug of war between different legal principles. Here is how international law handles this. 1. The right to declare, the Kosovo precedent. In 2010, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, issued a famous advisory opinion on Kosovo. It concluded that international law contains no prohibition against declarations of independence.
I hope the voice is coming out, right? I hope the voice is coming out. Can someone confirm that it's coming out? Please, can someone confirm that the voice I'm playing is coming out? Okay, thank you, John.
Essentially, just saying we are independent isn't a crime under international law, though it may be a violation of the parent country's domestic laws, often viewed as treason or rebellion. 2. The requirements for statehood. To be considered a real country, a state, a territory usually needs to meet the 4 criteria of the Montevideo Convention, 1933. A permanent population, people living there. A defined territory, clear borders. A government, an effective political system in control. Capacity to enter relations, the ability to sign treaties and talk to other countries. 3. The big conflict, self-determination versus territorial integrity. This is where the law gets difficult. There are 2 competing rules. Self-determination, the idea that a people have the right to choose their own government and status. Territorial integrity, the right of an existing country to keep its borders and not be broken apart. In practice, international law strongly favors territorial integrity. Unless there is a massive human rights violation, sometimes called remedial secession, or a history of decolonization, the international community is usually very reluctant to recognize a new country if the parent country doesn't agree to it. 4. Recognition is key. Even if a territory meets all the criteria, it isn't truly a country in the eyes of the world until other countries recognize it. Consensual secession, if the parent country agrees, like South Sudan from Sudan, recognition is easy. Unilateral secession, if the parent country disagrees, like Taiwan, Somaliland, or Transnistria, the new entity often exists in a gray zone. They might function like a country but lack a seat at the UN or a passport that everyone accepts. Summary note. While anyone can declare independence, international law generally only protects that independence if the parent state agrees, or if the people are being oppressed to a degree that the world feels forced to intervene. Would you like me to look up specific examples of countries that successfully or unsuccessfully tried this?
Are you listening? I will play it again before we analyze it. Let's listen again. The question we are treating is what one of our sisters, somebody was asking, and she sent it to me. The question is, can a country be declared in another man's country? That is the answer, the question we want to answer or debate on it today.
In international law, the process of one territory declaring itself independent from another country is known as secession. The short answer is yes, a territory can declare itself a country, but whether that declaration is legal or successful depends on a complex tug of war between different legal principles.
Now we continue. I hope you are following. In international law, the process of one territory declaring itself independent from another country is known as secession. It's known as what? Secession. To answer, the short answer is what? Yes. In the international community. There's one thing I want us to understand. Everything about a new country being declared or old country, the law that first governs it is international law. The law that governs your new country you are claiming that you want is international. You can't remove it away from them because they are the one that is going to make you to officially become a country fully, that your passport can go anywhere in the world. It's not what I think. It's not how I see it. It's how them are seeing it. Look at Somaliland. After 34 good years, no official international recognition. There is something that leads to that. But that is not why we are here. Because what leads to that is what our government has avoided this time around. What leads to Somaliland, Northern Cyprus, Taiwan, and Kosovo's, they are not fully recognized in the world stage or in the international global community is after their declaration, they went back to be knocking with the military. And the world said that in this 21st century era, in the 20th century era, that they did what? They committed violence. And the world muted and the silence on all of them. That is why today, Northern Cyprus has never get recognition because Turkey is the one that controls Northern Cyprus. After their declaration from Cyprus, they start snacking both the two because they are in the middle. At that point, the world says, no, you have violated the right of the international global community. We are not going to recognize you. For over 40 years of their declaration, they still remain on their own. Are you listening? For over 40 years of their declaration, they still remain where they are. Oh, they said over 30, 40 years, they remain where they are because of the violence they committed. Is it what you want us to go through? You that believe it is the only military can give you a sovereignty. And the world has openly told us that in 2026, that military is not the definition of sovereignty. The world has told us, make it officially, that there is no longer a time where military is being defined as territorial integrity, that one ended in the era of the colonial master before 20 centuries. Talk less of 21st centuries. 21st century started from January 1st, 2002. And it's going to end December 31st, 2100 is when it's going to end. Imagine long years. And on these long years, they are telling us no more using military to knock woto to claim that you are fighting for a new country. Please, if you just join me, please like and share the program. If you never like, check in front of your phone. You will see a 3 dots. Click on that 3 dots. It will open. You will see like and share. Then subscribe. Turn notification on so you will know when we are live and direct. It's very important if you may do so. The short answer is yes. Territory can be declared itself in a country of another person. But whether that declaration is legal or successful depends on the complex stores of war between different legal principles. There is a legal principle that controls a new country once it's been declared. What are those laws? That is our DPM under University of Biafra government are doing right now. Going through legal of it, going through diplomatic, going through political, and be maintaining pressure on the global, on the media. These are the things that the world wants us to do. This is how the world sees us.
Here is how international law handles this. 1. The right to declare, the Kosovo precedent. In 2010, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, issued a famous advisory opinion on Kosovo. It concluded that international law contains no prohibition against declarations of independence. Essentially, just saying we are independent isn't a crime under international law, though it may be a violation of the parent country's domestic laws, often viewed as treason or rebellion.
Are you hearing it? Kosovo. There is the right to declare the Kosovo president. In 2010, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, issued a famous adverse option on Kosovo. It concluded that international law cannot prohibit against declaration of independence. 2010, ICJ, International Criminal Court of Justice. Remember that in your mind. They said, the international law constitutes no prohibition against declaration of a new country independence. Donna, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I can see you. Your question, the answer is yes. Yoruba call themselves Oduduwa. They are agitating. They are online. Go to Koyiko Media platform. There is many of them who on social media who are advocating for the Oduduwa nation. Let's continue. Essentially, just say we are independent is not a crime under international law. Just say we have declared it as people of University of Biafra on this document they said is not a crime. It is only a crime in the eyes of Nigeria that the people of Biafra that has made their declaration back to exit Nigeria. For their own eyes, it becomes a crime. They will tag us terrorism, rebel is what they can be because of in their own local way, they think that it's not supposed to happen, but international law gives the right. And that is why we are calling on international law to look at their law, that their law is jamming each other. That question you asked me, what you can do on your phone that you ask me this question right now. Type this on your question, brother or sister. Type before 1914 amalgamation, who were people of entity called that amalgamation country called one Nigeria? Who are you before the 1914 amalgamation? If you can type it in your phone, then this question can be answered through your phone Google. Just go to Google, ask. Who are we? Who am I? Put name of where you are from. Who are we before 1914? If you can type it, go now and do it on the Google. Then come back and tell me what you find out there. Then that is where you will get all this answer of what you ask, because there is who we are before 1914 amalgamation. Before 1914, we have been living in our own different capacity, living very fine and very good. So type what I ask you right now. I am here to, what I do is to give an answer that you can find by yourself, instead of taking much time to ask me. Then on that place, you will find who are you if you're from northern side, and how you was living before the 1914 amalgamation. Go and do that on your phone. That is why I'm here to give you direct answer. I am living in old Eastern region before the amalgamation, doing business, moving very fine, using my culture, doing everything perfectly good before a white man called Federico Lugard come and do the amalgamation. In the history of all the continents in the world, it's only Nigeria have history of amalgamation. Every other country was being created by the indigenous people of that country. It's only Nigeria that their country history is amalgamated. Today, the Biafran people, we have distanced ourselves from that amalgamation of 1914 to vote and improve my own country, and went through war with Nigeria, and see if that war has never ended till today. That is why there is many marginalization, many inhuman treatment, abuse of rights. Nigeria is a country that I called death sentence. A country where citizens cannot protest. A country where their citizens cannot protest. So what I do here is, when you come, bring that question that is bothering you on the comment section, or send it through my WhatsApp. I will research it and bring it out for you. That's what I do. That is how I handle my program. Throw me that your question, then I will bring it out. When I watch out for notification. If you answer that question, you will know. What I'm doing today about if a country can be created in another country. That is the question they ask. I am dealing with this morning. And here, had it here, they said, what? The short answer is yes. A country can be declared in another man's country. That is what I'm doing today. And also said here that in 2010, The International Court of Justice, ICJ, issued a famous advention of option on Kosovo. It concluded that international law constantly no prohibition against declaration of a new country. Are you hearing it? Essentially, sorry, just say we are independent is not a crime under international law. Though it may be a violation of the present country domestic law, often viewed as treason or rebel. This is how Nigerians see the movement of Biafra today. They call it local law. And that is why today, the people of Biafra making the declaration put everything into legal, proving that we under remedial secession external, that we don't want Nigeria. That Nigeria is a failed state. Nigeria is a destiny killer. Nigeria means death sentence to every indigenous person. You must continue.
2. The requirements for statehood. To be considered a real country, a state, a territory usually needs to meet the 4 criteria of the Montevideo Convention, 1933. A permanent population, people living there. A defined territory, clear borders. A government, an effective political system in control. Capacity to enter relations, the ability to sign treaties and talk to other countries. 3. The big conflict.
Number 2. I hope you're listening. The requirement for statehood to be considered a real country, a state, a territory, usually needs to meet the 4 criteria of the Montevideo Convention 1933. 1. A permanent population of human beings, people living in that territory. Number 2, a defined territory, clear borders. Number 3, a government, an effective political system in control. Number 4, capacity to enter relations, the ability to sign treaties and talk on other countries. You must be a country before you can talk to other countries in the world, because they are the one giving what? Recognition. They are the one that will see you as a country. A country see a country as a country, not a group, not organization. This is how all these things happen in this world in our own time, that we all need to know perfectly. The only that you make sure that you will not like to start our program, because we don't talk about things you know. We talk about things you don't know. Things I don't know in the past that I am bringing back to understand this right now. That will lead me to guide my footsteps to stand on the legal aspect without committing crime. For you to be a state, 4 criteria. First, you must have population. The United States of Biafra has proved by registering under UN that we connected over 50 million votes from the Biafran people. So, when you see all this that is going on today, and those that are asking some questions, I want you to really understand that what you are thinking could not do anything. But what the international community thinks is what will do something. That is why it is good for you to adhere to everything international movement of the world. So no matter how corrupt they are, so whenever it's time occur to talk about you, they will see that you are on the legal track. And once you're not legal, they will not keep silent for you. Today, we have proved a permanent population. We have proved a defined territory by 40 states. We have showcased that we have an effective government that is under USB controlling us and giving orders, and also proving that they can be able to govern by introducing passport, ID card, and all that they are doing to you for us. Capacity to enter into agreement, they are ready to do that. They have the capacity. They have all it takes. And once it comes, they will grab it. Number 3.
Self-determination versus territorial integrity. This is where the law gets difficult. There are two competing rules.
Do you hear this word? This is where the law gets difficult. There are two competing rules. They are the one who put the law, but they are afraid about the law. When our DPM said that UN put two laws that contradicted each other, she's not making a mistake. How could you value territorial integrity more than human being? Instead of the human being first, and you value territorial integrity. What if there is no people living in that country or in that land? How could you protect this territorial integrity? That is why on this junction we are calling on the UN Charter to submit amendment. If you don't want people to have their own way, tell them so. Anyhow, they can go. But you can't give them a principle. You can't give them a guideline. You can't give them protocol. You can't give them the mandate to follow how to get it. And the mandate, the protocol is jamming, is complicating. That is pure stealing by tricks. That is doing Ijagwo, moving like a snake, is UN law. That is why people of Biafra, we must resist everything this time around and call for the amendment of all this law. According to our last DPM tweet, you can see what he said. And even in her speech to the people of Biafra, you can also understand. UN, your law is being partiality. Because you are also afraid that what you want to put in here out here might also be happen to you. I want this world to understand this fact that so far human beings have been given birth in this world. Country will merge, nothing will stop it. Country will merge with the people that have the same ideology. So what is the way forward? If your law is like this, the way forward should be to allow people to have access. When you study, tell them this is a place you will reach, that on this law that you have your own country, if you may. Because so far human beings are being given birth, a new country will be coming. You cannot stop it because people have different ideology, different agenda once they were being born. And when the same ideology, the same gender match up, they move on with their life. That is what you are seeing today. The people of Biafra like us are doing today, to let the world know that we have our own way to live. Brother, I am from United States of Biafra that was re-declared November 29, 2024. We are seeking for diplomatic international recognition from any member of the UN, from any country in Africa at all. This country exists from Nigeria. This is a country that fought war 1967 to 1970 against Nigeria, and the British helped Nigeria to cause genocide of over 5 million Biafra was being massacred. And today, we come back to reactivate our country back. So that is where I'm from. So, you see how one person Do you know how one law that one constitution put together is contradicting each other, is making things difficult? You told people that they have right for self-determination under immediate succession external, and when they do it, you cannot openly welcome them. And you know the truth, and you know what they're passing through. You know that the people of Biafra are passing through a lot. It is very important for the UN Charter, African Charter, to call into amendment.
Self-determination, the idea that a people have the right to choose their own government and status. Territorial integrity.
Do you hear that? Self-determination, the idea that a people have the right to choose their own government and status. People has their right to choose government and the status. This is under the topic of, can a country is being declared another country? They now said, yes, you have the right to do that. Now, the world who give you this self-determination, self-defense, or self-determination under secession, remedial secession external, also the one who said territorial integrity, the right of an existing country to keep its borders and not to be broke apart. Tell me why, how? Why are you speaking from both sides of your mouth, UN? When you are writing this talk, do you take beer? Do you take alcoholic? Or are you on Johnson Parliament before you can be able to put such a law here? You contradict people. You mess up with the innocent life. That is why Amina will sit on the UN as the president of the UN and be allowing wars going all over, corruption all over, because of every country who are corrupt open an account for her and be paying dollar into her account with her children's names, with family members' names. Think we don't know? Amina Mohammed, think we don't know why you keep silent and allowing all this corruption, allowing the killings of the indigenous people everywhere? You allow all this that is going on, and you are not saying a word, and you claim a president of an organization called member of the UN. When people move on action, you colluded with the president's country, arrest their leader, waste their life. For how long are you going to do this? The time has come to end it. That is why people do. The work that UN, EU, AU is supposed to do, they left the work for Donald Trump. They left the work for Donald Trump to come and do for them. And they are there only collecting money, answering big names, big offices, big organization. What we are doing on our own case as the Biafran people after our declaration is to prove to you that we know all these laws and we are following them. At a stage, we are going to leash on mayhem to the world. Because the denial of Biafra is the problem that the countries of the world are facing through today. We also want America to know, Donald Trump, you coming to bomb Nigeria like you are doing is good, but that is not the everlasting solution. The everlasting solution is to give us Biafra. Recognize us as a country, like Israel recognized Somaliland. We are your fellow Christian countries that we are going to help to end the genocide of the Christians in the world. And by we becoming a country, we will bring America close, we will bring Israel close, we will bring all the countries of the world very close as Christian to monitor what is going on in the world and also see what is happening in Africa, to know how they can by joining Ibrahim Traoré and all the three countries in Africa who stand and chase away the colonial masters because they are our problem. Look at Burkina Faso today. I don't have chased France away. They have chased Macron away. Look at the improvements of Burkina Faso. And you think that when Africa got it right, the world will be a better place. Why are you giving people asylum in your country? Why? And you know those who have a country, you go to their country, you press their leaders down. And you claim the authority that you think you are the highest person. The most Painful part of it is that in this constitution of the law of the UN, that a woman is a president of UN, Amina Mohammed. She is there sitting quietly, doing nothing. And people's children are dying, mothers are dying, fathers are dying, and she's not doing anything. She is not doing anything. She folded her hand. Only 1 month and she will collect salary. And people will give her bribe because Nigeria bribed their way in everything. They value territorial integrity. The UN Charter, African Charter, values territorial integrity more than life of human beings. But in the first place, you throw self-determination to them. That's how they have right to choose their government, how they have right to govern themselves, how they have to represent their people and govern their people. When they go through that, you tag them terrorists, and you come and remind us there is a local law of the present country that they are fighting, they want to exit from. Who does that? Corruption does that. Corruption is what is doing that. You must continue.
The right of an existing country to keep its borders and not be broken apart. In practice, international law strongly favors territorial integrity. Unless there is a massive human rights violation, sometimes called remedial.
In practice, hear them. Shameless people, criminals, hijackers, killers. In practice, international law strongly favored territorial integrity. The international law does not favor human being. If there is no human being, is he going to be there? Are they going to have territorial integrity? If there is no human being, are you going to maintain territorial integrity in empty land? Is human being supposed to be not supposed to be the first? Their protection. But look at it here. You put them in the first place. Now you bring them last. And it presents territorial integrity. Territorial integrity of all of you are corrupt blood. It's evil territorial integrity. That is why we are not going to do it anymore. That is why I make our declaration and we stand on our mandate, and there's nothing anybody can do to bring us back because it's our right. Your law proves that it's our right. No matter how you delay it, it must come and it must stand on the existing protocol. We are not going to jump. We are not going to create our own law. Rather, we are going to stand on the history that already been made. On that mandate, we shall stand and create more history for the next generation. That's what we are doing this time around. That is why we choose legal. We want the world to know that we have chosen legal. We want America to know that. We want UN, EU, African organizations to know that the Biafra government under Dr. Musa Rebeze has choose what? Legal. And we are seeking for diplomatic recognition without wasting time. Because we have suffered so much. If you count from 1967 to 2026, we have suffered so much. The genocide is overwhelming. The inhuman treatment, the abuse of rights, the marginalization, the torture, the allegation, the propaganda on us that started with British, Federal Lugard and his cohort prime minister cannot be able to condone anymore. In practice, international law strongly favored territorial integrity. Useless, there is a massive human rights violation, sometimes called remedial succession. Did you see it? Sometimes called remedial succession. Massive, if there is a massive humanitarian right violation today in Nigeria, we are asking the UN that are putting these laws. We are asking EU. We are asking all of you to answer us this question. So what is happening in Nigeria is not massive human rights violation. So Nigeria has not got up to that. With all the videos making headway in social media, with all that you have gathered on your own, even in America, on your investigation. Now that Israel has come back to investigate again, why can't you investigate and prove out the reality, give the everlasting solution for you to always to be coming to come and investigate what is going on there? How can you do that? Recognize Biafra, We are going to build military that will covers everything up, and nobody will kill one another again anymore. That is why it's very important that everybody understand what we are doing today.
Secession, or a history of decolonization, the international community is usually very reluctant to recognize a new country if the parent country doesn't agree to it. 4.
Are you hearing it? The right law is not the present country introduce that you have to form your own country. Them that introduce it now refer back and come and tell us that the present country, because they did not agree. Do you think that we agreed before you write the law? Before UN put this law, all these international bodies, before all of you write these laws, do you think that they were agreed before? Why do you do that? When you know that they are not going to agree, when you know that they are not going to allow a new country to emerge, come instead of that, decide to wipe people away. You don't know when you write this junk and this thing you write. But we choose to go through that, so you could not find anything on our hand to nail our leaders anymore, to arrest our prime minister, to arrest our DPM and the government members. That is why we try to adhere towards these laws and see what is outcome until we decide to change ourselves, and it's going to be very brutal if we dare. Do not challenge us, do not dare what we can do, because we are impatient about this recognition. Because we have suffered so much. They have killed us so much. A lot is happening. A lot is what happening.
Recognition is key. Even if a territory meets all the criteria, it isn't true.
Remember here, sometimes it's called remedial secession. We agreed. Or history of decolonization. The international community is usually very difficult to recognize a new country if the present country does not agree with them. You that introduced law of having a new country under this secession, is it that present country that we are exiting? Is it Nigeria that introduced this law? Is it not you? Why can't you back up the law as the health authority? You start on the high note, then you fall on ground. Nonsense. Nonsense. You are the one who said that people are free to declare in another country. When they declare it, you said, oh, because they are not controlling their territory, they are going to wait until they get recognition for the... Why? The word are word of a better liars and pretenders. Why? That's my question. Why? We must continue. I hope you're listening. Recognition is the key. Now, do you know why this thing needs to be touched to? Because in the first place, you told us about Montevideo Convention, the 4 criteria. Once you made those criteria, you become a sovereign state. When people made this criteria, why can't you, who put that law there, face the recognition, and because of the bribe the present country are giving to you, you continue talking about territorial integrity? Why? Why are you talking about the territorial integrity all the time instead of talking about human life that have been lost in every blessed day? You give them the right to go and declare another country and met every criteria. When you see, you know that this people has met this criteria. Instead of you that introduced this law first to say, okay, we have organized you, let us help you to reconcile or how to separate you from the old country, the present country you want to exit from. Rather, you will go and support territorial integrity. Wayo people, 419, fake laws here and there. You have fake laws, is why people are dying. Please join us, please like and share the program. Like and share. The right of people to go on another country to declare country is the headline we're discussing today.
Really a country in the eyes of the world until other countries recognize it. Consensual secession, if the parent country...
Look at them. If a territory met all these criteria, it is truly a country in the eyes of the world until other countries recognize you. Why is it not mandatory that once you met all these criteria, you claim that we are a country on our own, but in your own eyes, we can wait until you get recognition? That's why people suffered Somaliland for all these years, and after Israel is coming to the recognition, and many of you are still remain mute. What is the problem of all of you who write this law to us? The law must be abolished because it's not making any sense. Rather, it's causing pain and death of the innocent people. It makes no sense. Speaking from both sides of your mouth at the same time. Let's continue.
Agrees, like South Sudan from Sudan, recognition is easy. Unilateral secession, if the parent country disagrees, like Taiwan, Somaliland, or Transnistria, the
Are you hearing
DMZ
it?
often exists in a gray zone. They might function like a country but lack a seat at the UN or a passport that everyone accepts.
I hope you're listening. Because the UN make it difficult for a new country to succeed. UN make it very difficult for a new country to do what? To succeed very fastly, rapidly. But we have come to change narrative. We have come to protest against these real laws that are not favorable for the new countries, that make it easier for them to achieve their goals. So, today, you may understand that it is easy for a country to be declared in another man's country. It is a right of the people under the international law. They did not prohibit that. And look at it here. If the present country agrees, like South Sudan from Sudan, recognition is easy. How do you think that they are going to allow? They're only going to allow if there is nothing they are benefiting from that area who want to live. Like people of Biafran people, that Nigeria is in our territory, making our oil in the old eastern region. How do you think they will live? UN, EU. We are reading your laws to guide ourselves, but we must tell you the truth, that you keep silent over it. Good boy, thank you so much. Shoma, you're welcome. Please, as you join me, please have you like and share the program. If the first time, there is a 3 dot in front of your screen on the right hand side, the way I'm pointing my hand. Then touch on that 3 dot, it will open. You will see like and share. Do that, please, so others may hear what we're saying. Others may hear. Blessed Chuku. Good afternoon from here. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Yes, I also want to remind people of Biafra that lives in Bahrain that we have our head mission contact on number +97336051337 for you to join the group. We are moving speedily because there is no time to waste. We are already getting home already. So please join us to do the needful so we can go home. So, the world, what do you really want? You never want people to create a new country. You never want. That is why you make it difficult. You never want people to have their own country. You want them to remain under you. That is why Great Britain want to colonize every country in the world, and see today to colonizing Nigeria and harrowing their business according to their plan with the Fulani Sokoto Caliphate. On neutrally secession, those that their own did not pass through. If the present countries disagree, like Taiwan, Somaliland, or other countries in the world, the new entity often exists in the gas zone. They might function like a country, but lack seat at the UN or passport that everyone accepted. Do you see what is there right now? Remember the headline. Can a country is being declared in another country? We are proving it to you. That is the work of the government. The work of the government is what? To sign agreement, to sign treaties, to make sure that everything is in order, and also prove that they are ready to govern its own people. They also have right to issue passport, and they said, even though the passport is not going back, all this blockage is being put in by UN Charter. All this blockage is being put in by Europe. All of you are the one putting all this blockage, suffering people. And you only care for your interest of how much you make from that country. That is all you care. That is why Finland can arrest my Simon Banjoko and put him in prison. Human life does not matter. What matters is territorial integrity. That is what the world have told us. That what matters in this life is what? Territorial integrity, and what matters is what? The sovereignty. That is what matters to you, not the life of people who are living there before you came. We must tell the world the truth. Listen.
Summary note. While anyone can declare independence, international law generally only protects that independence if the parent state agrees, or if the people are being oppressed to a degree that the world feels forced to intervene.
Are you listening? In summary, why anyone can declare independence in another country? International recognition generally only protects that independence if the present state. Do you see that? How could someone you are living from, how could someone I am dragging a land from who approved for me to take his land according to your plan? That is why we are saying that this UN Charter must call for amendment. Things must be changed because your law is contradicted, it's jamming each other, it's costing people's life. That is what your law is doing here. Yes, my people, our line is open in case if anyone want to call us on number plus 9733605137. In case if you have chance to call, you can call and make a submission. You can go talk about our government. You can also call to talk about matters arising. You are free to say anything you want. These are the truth and figures. So we continue. I will play it again after that as we're waiting for phone call because we don't want the program to succeed for so long. Listen to this.
In the 21st century, the bar for success in declaring independence has become very high. While many groups have tried, only a handful have gained full international recognition. The difference between success and failure often comes down to international recognition and the consent of the parent country. 1. Successful secessions, full recognition. These territories are now fully recognized countries, with seats at the United Nations. Country. Year. Separated from, why it succeeded, Timor-Leste, 2002. Indonesia. Following a long conflict.
1 minute. One minute, my people, 1 minute. Something network. Network is another different thing.
But they are not fully accepted by the Kosovo, 2008,
network.
declared independence from Serbia. While recognized by over 100 UN members, including the US and most of the EU, it is not a UN member because countries like Serbia, Russia and China refuse to recognize it. Abkhazia and South Ossetia, 2008, these regions broke away from Georgia with Russian military support. Only a few countries like Russia, Nicaragua and Venezuela recognize them as independent. 3. Unsuccessful or frozen attempts. These movements either failed to gain control of the land or have no international recognition at all. Somaliland has functioned as an independent, stable democracy since 1991, breaking from Somalia, but 0 countries officially recognize it as a state. Catalonia, 2017, held a referendum and declared independence from Spain. The international community almost unanimously supported Spain's territorial integrity, and the leaders of the movement were arrested or fled. Kurdistan, 2017, Iraqi Kurds voted overwhelmingly for independence in a referendum. However, the Iraqi government used military force to retake territory, and no major foreign power supported the bid. Why the difference? The gold standard for success in the 21st century is negotiated consent. If the parent country says okay, like Sudan did for South Sudan, the rest of the world follows. If the parent country says no, like Spain or Iraq, the international community usually treats the declaration as an internal legal matter rather than a new country. Would you like to dive deeper into the specific legal arguments used in the Catalonia or Kosovo cases?
Are you hearing it? We want to let you know that a country can bring degree in another country, and people have done that in the past. Yes, listen. I have did that program when I asked them why this your law is not for a black man, moreover for the Biafran people. Because the law has two faces. When it's come to a white man, it becomes their right. When it's come to a black man, no. But the issue is this: yeah, you can hear about Catalina from Spain. They refuse them to go. That is why the law of the international community is contradicting. Law is not straight. You don't know what they want. They talk this way, they talk the other way. They talk from both sides of their mouth. That is why they are creating more confusion in the world. That is why they are creating more chaos everywhere, because of their law is not being straight. Well, let's play it again for some reason.
In the 21st century, the bar for success in declaring independence has become very high. While many groups have tried, only a handful have gained full international recognition. The difference between success and failure often comes down to international recognition and the consent of the parent country. 1. Successful secessions, full recognition. These territories are now fully recognized countries, with seats at the United Nations. Country. Year. Separated from, why it succeeded, Timor-Leste, 2002. Indonesia. Following a long conflict, a UN-sponsored referendum led to independence with Indonesia's eventual consent. Montenegro. 2006. Serbia. A peaceful legal referendum was held under an agreement between the two regions. South Sudan. 2011. Sudan. Part of a peace deal ending decades of civil war. The parent state, Sudan, officially recognized the results. 2. The gray zone. Partial recognition. These territories function like countries. They have their own laws, police, and borders. But they are not fully accepted by the international community. Kosovo, 2008. Declared independence from Serbia. While recognized by over 100 UN members, including the US and most of the EU, it is not a UN member because countries like Serbia, Russia, and China refuse to recognize it. Abkhazia and South Ossetia, 2008. These regions broke away from Georgia with Russian military support. Only a few countries like Russia, Nicaragua, and Venezuela recognize them as independent. 3. Unsuccessful or frozen attempts. These movements either failed to gain control of the land or have no international recognition at all. Somaliland has functioned as an independent, stable democracy since 1991, breaking from Somalia, but 0 countries officially recognize it as a state. Catalonia, 2017, held a referendum and declared independence from Spain. The international community almost unanimously supported Spain's territorial integrity, and the leaders of the movement were arrested or fled. Kurdistan, 2017. Iraqi Kurds voted overwhelmingly for independence in a referendum. However, the Iraqi government used military force to retake territory, and no major foreign power supported the bid. Why the difference? The gold standard for success in the 21st century is negotiated consent. If the parent country says okay, like Sudan did for South Sudan, the rest of the world follows. If the parent country says no, like Spain or Iraq, the international community usually treats the declaration as an internal legal matter rather than a new country. Would you like to dive deeper into the specific legal arguments used in the Catalonia or Kosovo cases?
I hope you listen very deeply. Like I said, this program is not going to be so long because we want to answer this question direct. Why we play all this one is to prove to you that the thing that you are asking has happened in the past. In this present 21st century, countries have stayed in exile, declared their country, and it's come to fulfillment. That is why we are bringing you what happened in 2021, what happened in 2010, what happened 2001, and all the rest 2002 and go on. That is what they call 21st century. Why do we need to bring all this? It's because of those who are asking questions. So you can see that countries have done it in the past. So we are not the first. That's why I told you, make use of your phone a little bit. Make use of your Google by typing it. Did international law allows a country to be declared in another man's country. Type it on your phone. There is time we have now. It's not that time that where we will come, narrate how we want, how does not want it. No. Let us face the reality. Countries has done that. That is why our registration in Finland become legit and legal. Those who are asking, you go to Finland, declare another man's country. Who? Now I want to tell you that it's not. It's under the law. It's yes.
In international law, the process of one territory declaring itself independent from another country is known as secession.
Okay.
The short answer is yes, a territory can declare itself a country, but whether that declaration is legal or successful depends on a complex tug of war between different legal principles. Here is how international law handles this. 1. The right to declare, the Kosovo precedent. In 2010, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, issued a famous advisory opinion on Kosovo. It concluded that international law contains no prohibition against declarations of independence. Essentially, just saying we are independent isn't a crime under international law, though it may be a violation of the parent country's domestic laws, often viewed as treason or rebellion. 2. The requirements for statehood. To be considered a real country, a state, a territory usually needs to meet the 4 criteria of the Montevideo Convention, 1933. A permanent population, people living there. A defined territory, clear borders. A government, an effective political system in control. Capacity to enter relations, the ability to sign treaties and talk to other countries. 3. The big conflict, self-determination versus territorial integrity. This is where the law gets difficult. There are 2 competing rules. Self-determination, the idea that a people have the right to choose their own government and status. Territorial integrity, the right of an existing country to keep its borders and not be broken apart. In practice, international law strongly favors territorial integrity. Unless there is a massive human rights violation, sometimes called remedial secession, or a history of decolonization, the international community is usually very reluctant to recognize a new country if the parent country doesn't agree to it. 4. Recognition is key. Even if a territory meets all the criteria, it isn't truly a country in the eyes of the world until other countries recognize it. Consensual secession. If the parent country agrees, like South Sudan from Sudan, recognition is easy. Unilateral secession. If the parent country disagrees, like Taiwan, Somaliland or Transnistria, the new entity often exists in a gray zone. They might function like a country but lack a seat at the UN or a passport that everyone accepts. Summary note. While anyone can declare independence, international law generally only protects that independence if the parent state agrees, or if the people are being oppressed to a degree that the world feels forced to intervene. Would you like me to look up specific examples of countries that successfully or unsuccessfully tried this?
I hope you are paying attention. The truth remains that we have rights. Let's also ask that question. If you have rights to go to another country, to declare a country, you had it here that the people has right to go to any country, and once that countries allow them to make the declaration, they have right to declare a new country. That is what they call declaration. Our own of the United States of Biafra is being what? It's been re-declared that the people of Biafra are sovereignty. Now that we have declared that lost country that was in existence 1967 to 1970. After the war, we lost the country. And we went back today to re-declare it. It is our right under self-determination with all that is going on in Nigeria today. With all that Nigeria is not for me. And Nigeria simply means a death sentence to every indigenous person. That's what Nigeria simply means. And look at the killing that's going on there today. Look at what is happening on there today. Everything about Nigeria is becoming a failed state. And they are failing. Even the British agreed that Nigeria will fail in 2030. 2026, next 4 years, is the project of British. And that is where Nigeria is going to be divided. That is where when we come here, we don't just come and tell you something. We bring you evidence, fact, and figure. That's why I will tell you, type on your phone. You have Google. Make use of that to your common Google. So far, you can't lay hand on the app I am using because it costs money. Make use of the Google. Type. That one can give you a little bit brief, so you can be you stop writing and thinking rubbish in your head. The world has moved into what will help us to achieve it. They said in this 21st century that we have to use legal to achieve our country. We have to use diplomatic. We have to use political pressure and media pressure to let the world know the things that we are passing through. The world has seen it. What leads to remedial succession is what makes America to put Nigeria on a country of particular concern. That is what you can see. What leads to Nigeria to sanction the politicians in Nigeria that they will not enter America is why we, the Biafran people, have decided to move away. That is the reason why what we are doing at this stage need us to do what? To understand that the Biafra is only solution to everything that is happening in Nigeria. In the entire continent of this world, only Biafra can quench this fire. We want to go back the way we are before 1914 amalgamation. We want to, the way we have declared Biafra is the way we have going to reactivate who we are. The way we're going to sanitize ourselves back, because Nigeria simply means destroy, death sentence, and nothing is working. It is very important for us to know that everything are inclusive of all. There is no way all these lies and what we think can be able to achieve us what we are looking for. There's no way. What we are doing here is to prove that we are building a platform that in the future will still exist. Because after we have achieved Biafra, organization people will disappear. And what are they going to say? That is why we choose things we do here. One is I want to educate myself to know if what the government of Biafra is doing is the right thing. Have some countries in the world, have anybody pass through that way? So sometimes in exam, they will give you old question paper mark exam to write because of what? History are repeating all the time. Go and check very well. 1 + 1 since when he was born, is it not still remain 4? 4 + 4, is it not 4? 1 + 1, is it not 2? When you go to school, that's the same 1 + 1 that your forefathers has been taught in the school is what they're still teaching to you today. 1 + 1, has it ever changed from being 2 and becomes 4? 4 + 1, has it changed from being 8 and becomes 10? Think. So you will understand that this history of Biafra is going to be achieved by other people's history and the example and the rule, the yardstick, the template they use. I have answered the question. If a country can be declared in exile, we are not only the one who has gone through that way. We are not. Many people has passed through that road. Many people has gone through that lane and achieved their own. And those who remain on the legal path have achieved their recognition. Those who remain on the toxic and the violence area did not achieve their own very fast. That is why Somaliland can wait for 34 years. That is why Northern Cyprus are still there. That is why so many countries are remaining. We are letting the world to know that the UN Charter is being corrupt law. He speaks from both sides of their mouths because of their interest of money, interest of economy. That is why they are lying from both sides of their mouths, and that is why we are calling the Biafran people that despite we are respecting all this law and implementing all of them through legal of the government, that we need to tell them that this law must be changed. The law must be changed. Because of what? The people of Biafra has mandated that we will stand on our mandate of our declaration, and nobody will stop us from having our own country, whether you like it or not. I hope it is clear to you. They give us examples of countries who has done that in the past. Even in Africa, there is countries in Africa who make the declaration in another country, in this Africa country that you are seeing today. Is there is. We are not going to be the last. We are not going to be the first. We are on the track of what others has done in the past. That's what we are repeating. That's what we are doing. So do not panic. When they are throwing that question to you, please remember that I am here to answer that question of if a country can be declared in another man's country. They call it remedial secession. That because of marginalization, because of inhuman treatment, because of abuse of rights, because of torture, because of denial, that people has the right to make declaration of their country, and they can use the name government in exile to govern it. So we are not the first, and we are not going to be the one. We are not going to be the last. That is why it's important for us to educate ourselves. By educating ourselves, by knowing it by ourselves, then we will stand tall. You heard about countries' names. And this present country, they make the declaration from another country. So, listen and stop deceiving yourself. You that because of you hate their word, Biafra. It's not going to stop us from anything. It's not going to. So let us hear the names of the countries in the past and in the present who have made it from other countries, who declared their country from another country, and today they are a country on their own. Listen to this.
In the history of Africa, most countries gained independence from European colonial powers, like Britain, France, or Portugal. However, there are a few specific cases where a country or territory declared independence from an already existing African country. Under international law, this is called secession. Here are the most prominent examples. 1. Successful secessions. Full international recognition. These countries are fully recognized by the UN and the African Union. Eritrea, 1993. Declared independence from Ethiopia. After a 30-year war, a UN-monitored referendum was held where the majority voted for independence. South Sudan, 2011. Declared independence from Sudan. This followed decades of civil war and a peace agreement that allowed for a referendum. It is currently the world's youngest recognized country. 2. Declared but unrecognized, de facto states. These territories have declared themselves independent from another African country and function like states, but they lack full international recognition. Somaliland, 1991, declared independence from Somalia. While it has its own currency, government and army, and is considered very stable, most of the world still officially considers it part of Somalia. Note, in late 2025, Israel became the first UN member to formally recognize it. Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, Western Sahara, claims independence from Morocco. It is recognized by the African Union and several other countries, but its status remains a major dispute at the UN. 3. Historical or failed declarations. Biafra, 1967 to 1970, declared independence from Nigeria. This led to the Nigerian Civil War. The secession failed, and the territory was reintegrated into Nigeria. As you mentioned, A new redeclaration occurred in November 2024 by the USB government in exile. Katenga, 1960 to 1963, tried to declare independence from the Democratic Republic of the Congo shortly after the Congo gained independence from Belgium. The secession was eventually suppressed by UN and Congolese forces. Ambazonia, southern Cameroons. Many groups in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon declared the independence of Ambazonia in 2017. This has led to an ongoing conflict, but it has no international recognition as a country. Why is this so rare in Africa? The African Union AU has a strict policy called Uti Possidetis, which means they generally believe colonial-era borders should not be changed. They fear that if one group successfully breaks away, it will cause domino effects and lead to hundreds of other groups trying to do the same, causing instability across the continent. Would you like to know more about the specific peace treaties that allowed Eritrea or South Sudan to legally separate? This video provides a helpful overview of how different African nations navigated the journey to sovereignty and the challenges of drawing new borders. YouTube video views will be stored in your YouTube history, and your data will be stored and used by YouTube according to its terms of service.
I hope you are listening. The question, the topic we are taking today is, can a country be declared from another country? That is the topic that we are addressing today. That is the question that somebody threw, and you can hear it clearly. In Africa, Namibia got their independence from South Africa. There was in exile. Exile simply means that the government that made the creation of that new country was in another country. That is the meaning of exile. There they call it what? Remedial secession, that leads you to stay in another man's country and declare your country. There is those who have done that, who have achieved it. And they give you names, and those who did not achieve it. And today, the topic of Biafra has also been brought back in the timeline. There is no other way around. Hey, how could you declare government and you have government in exile? We are not those who started that journey. Biafra people are not the one who started the journey of declaring a country in exile. If not for Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu started from exile. IPOB organization was not registered in Nigeria. It was registered in where? In UK. When I see IPOB people talking, I ask them, do you even think at all who believes that organization? Do you even reason at all? Are you not in exile? Are you not in exile when you claim your IPOB organization? Did IPOB be registered in Nigeria? You IPOB man. IPOB is not registered in London as a group, as an organization. If I know it's been long, you are here. Ago, you're welcome. My senior man, Emma. Greg, my name is Greg. Good afternoon from here. I salute you. Thanks so much. Happy Sunday to you all. Happy Sunday. Please, if you join me, please like and share the program. There is a 3 dot in front of you. Click on that 3 dot. It will open. You will see like and share. The way I'm pointing my right hand on your screen, there is a 3 dot. Click on it. Click on that. Why do you ask to share? Because when you share, the message will go viral. That is why you liking and sharing is very important. Once you share, it will lead you to subscribe. The subscribe does not remove any money. The subscribe is free. When you subscribe, turn your notification on so you will know when we are live and we are direct. I have proved it to you here how many countries in Africa who was in exile, and the countries in Africa that got their independence from their fellow African countries. So you will know that what you see your USB doing is not play, is not child's play. It is the right of the people to choose how they want to govern themselves and how they want to rule their government. In this 21st century that started from 2001 to 2100, that is when the first 21st century will end. People have achieved their own in the past. And those that never achieved their own are still there. Today, imagine in this document of those who has declared their independence again and they never achieved recognition. They brought in what? United States of Biafra. Did they brought IPOB? Did they brought Masob? Did they brought Masob? Did they brought all these shenanigan groups that are messing up? They brought what? The re-declaration of US government in exile. That they are among those that have made declaration in another country, seeking for recognition. They play. Okay, make it. The example of Somaliland is not okay for you. You are not listening to that thing that happens for you to know that it's going to happen very soon to us as we are moving. That is why I'm here to let you know the fact, the truth. The only truth is what I want to let you to know, because you shying away from this truth could not do you any help. There is no amount of your silence. There is no amount of your wars. There is no amount of your sabotage will stop us from this movement. Look at Biafran topic has entered that we are among those, Ambazonia, that we are among those that make declaration from government in exile in another man's country. And today we are seeking recognition. I have played it for you here to understand it clearly. That those things that you are saying, you are thinking, cannot stop the movement that we are into. That is why it is very imperative for you to do what? Stand on the truth. And it is only on that truth that you may understand will set you free. When they ask you, hey, how can you declare a country in another man's country? How can you declare a country in another man's country? Look at it, it's possible. It's not against the law. International law supports it so much. International law did what? Support that so much that you have the right to do that under remedial external succession to prove because of marginalization, because of inhuman treatment, because of abuse of rights, because of torture, because of kidnapping, because of disappearance of your people, because of denial of positions, that you have right to stay in exile and make official declaration of the new country. Then people will follow you up. When they are following you up, they are listening to know why you make that declaration. It is very important if you do so. It is very important. And there's one thing I want you to know. The Biafra we are seeking for will not come for the way we think. You see all the things we analyze and know. The only thing they need us to continuously putting on pressure on is proving how Nigeria has been handled us in the past. There is no amount of sabotage that stops people that make declaration on the legal aspect of it to when it is a due time for recognition to come. It must come no matter how you sabotage. That is why I give you an example of country like America. Oster, you're welcome. Odogwenugu, I can see you. You're welcome, senior comrade. My you are a father to me. I always respect you for that. Thank you so much for being here. I want us to really face the reality. The reality that we are into. For those one IPOB asked that question, ask IPOB who ask you, how can you declare a country in another man's country? Ask them, why did Mazen Kanu register IPOB in abroad, in another man's country? And you are claiming you are fighting for Biafra. And you are claiming you are fighting for Biafra. I am sorry for some people with their mentality. Because of you are not the one doing it. So if any other person do it, it becomes a crime. Listen from the beginning of this particular program. What we capitalize today to talk about is, can you declare a country in another man's country? What control these countries are international law. It's only when your own local law controls is when it's come to you alone.
In international law, the process of one territory declaring itself independent from another country is known as secession. The short answer is yes, a territory can declare itself a country, but whether that declaration is legal or successful depends on a complex tug of war between different legal principles. Here is how international law handles this. 1. The right to declare, the Kosovo precedent. In 2010, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, issued a famous advisory opinion on Kosovo. It concluded that international law contains no prohibition against declarations of independence. Essentially, just saying we are independent isn't a crime under international law, though it may be a violation of the parent country's domestic laws, often viewed as treason or rebellion. 2. The requirements for statehood. To be considered a real country, a state, a territory usually needs to meet the 4 criteria of the Montevideo Convention, 1933. A permanent population, people living there. A defined territory, clear borders. A government, an effective political system in control. Capacity to enter relations, the ability to sign treaties and talk to other countries. 3. The big conflict, self-determination versus territorial integrity. This is where the law gets difficult. There are 2 competing rules. Self-determination, the idea that a people have the right to choose their own government and status. Territorial integrity, the right of an existing country to keep its borders and not be broken apart. In practice, international law strongly favors territorial integrity. Unless there is a massive human rights violation, sometimes called remedial secession, or a history of decolonization, the international community is usually very reluctant to recognize a new country if the parent country doesn't agree to it. 4. Recognition is key. Even if a territory meets all the criteria, it isn't truly a country in the eyes of the world until other countries recognize it. Consensual secession, if the parent country agrees, like South Sudan from Sudan, recognition is easy. Unilateral secession, if the parent country disagrees, like Taiwan, Somaliland or Transnistria, the new entity often exists in a gray zone. They might function like a country but lack a seat at the UN or a passport that everyone accepts. Summary note. While anyone can declare independence, international law generally only protects that independence if the parent state agrees, or if the people are being oppressed to a degree that the world feels forced to intervene. Would you like me to look up specific examples of countries that successfully or unsuccessfully tried this?
Listen, now let us give you countries that have done it in the past. In this 21st century, listen.
In the 21st century, the bar for success in declaring independence has become very high. While many groups have tried, only a handful have gained full international recognition. The difference between success and failure often comes down to international recognition and the consent of the parent country. 1. Successful secessions, full recognition. These territories are now fully recognized countries, with seats at the United Nations. Country. Year. Separated from, why it succeeded, Timor-Leste, 2002. Indonesia.
Are you hearing it? A country like Timor-Leste separated from Indonesia, 2002, 21st century. A country like countries that have got it their rights. They are also in exile. Timor-Leste, there was not holding ground on the Indonesia before they declare it. There was somewhere. They are in another country and declare it. And what happened? They told us here, fully Following a long conflict, UN suspended supersede referendum led to independence with Indonesia eventually a contract. They have got their own fully. Listen again. This is 2026. Listen.
Following a long conflict, a UN-sponsored referendum led to independence with Indonesia's eventual consent. Montenegro, 2006. Serbia, a peace...
Montenegro, 2006, got their independence, declared their own, and they are on their own, peaceful like what we did right this time around from Serbia.
Full legal referendum was held under an agreement between the two regions.
They agree that they want self-referendum. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been writing Nigeria, calling for self-referendum for over all these years. Did they agree? The answer is no. That is what pushed us to where in exile to go and make our declaration and stand on the mandate of that declaration of the people of United States of Biafra. Look at two countries in this year 21st century. Remember, this 21st century we are into started counting on 2001. This 21st century will end in 2100. The 21st century we close. We now go into 22nd century. These are the countries who achieve it. Montenegro do their own. They achieve it. From which country? From the country of Serbia. They are there.
Dan, 2011. Sudan, part of a peace deal ending decades of civil war. The parent state, Sudan, officially recognized the results. 2.
Do you hear that? Sudan and South Sudan, after a long decade war, they now decided to do what? Calm down to themselves. Officially, Sudan has recognized South Sudan as a country today, despite their civil war going on there. Despite that. And when we talk about Biafra, you make mockery of it. When we talk about USB, your head swallow up like empty pot.
The gray zone, partial recognition. These territories function like countries. They have their own laws, police, and borders, but they are not fully accepted by the international community. Kosovo, 2008, declared independence from Serbia.
When Kosovo is declared, when they declared their independence in 2008, Kosovo, their government, their major declaration was in exile in Serbia. Kosovo. They declared their country from another man's country. Despite that they are still fighting for recognition. But understand that they declared it in another man's country. They are this one they told here. They have their police, they have their law, they have their border. Despite being exiled in another man's country, declare it. You who claim IPOB, are you not in abroad? Are you not in another man's country? You always carry placards, wearing, that is all you know how to do, without knowing the road that will give you to the freedom.
While recognized by over 100 UN members, including the US and most of the EU, it is not a UN member because countries like Serbia, Russia, and China refuse to recognize it.
Look at it here. The history is repeating here. Kosovo make their declaration where? Serbia. Till today, from 2008, they make their declaration of their country in Serbia. Serbia never recognized Kosovo. Could you imagine? Like Finland, who refused to recognize Biafra. USB government, USB country, and the Mazi Nnamdi, they refuse. The history has repeated here. The same attitude of Serbia is what Finland is representing today. Russia refused to recognize them. And China refused to recognize Kosovo with Serbia. Remember that Kosovo was standing on the ground, on the territory of Serbia to make their declaration. That is where they stand. They stand over there to make this declaration. And look at those that they give them ground though, to make the declaration. They refuse to recognize them. Kosovo and the Biafran people, our declaration are the same thing, because the country that we stand on their ground, we even come in, pay for house, for hotel rent, the food we eat, we give them our money, we also add to the economy. They refuse to recognize us. That's why I want you to know that whatever happened to us today has happened somewhere. It didn't stop those people from being a country. It did not. Remember, like I said, our line will remain open for phone calls, because we're going to shut down small time. We have only more 15 minutes to be here. Our number to call remain +97336051337. If you also have a brother who is in this country, Bahrain, contact him, give him this contact. The government of the USB has appointed me yesterday to lead the mission head of Bahrain. So please tell them that we are waiting for all calls for us to join together to support our government, and also let Bahrain know that there are people called United States of Biafra that are living in their country. We want to make it official. We will not hide ourselves. The time we are into is no longer the time to hide. Nothing will happen. Nothing. We only preach peace and how we can achieve our country. We are only asking for recognition. We are not with arms. We are not with a busy world of the country where we are living. We are only saying things we have to say for us to be free. That is what they call political pressure with social media. That is what we are doing. So, the history continues repeating. Hope you are listening to that. Because it's not what we think. It's not what I concocted and put an headline and start discussing things, repeating the same thing of. No. It's the high time to face reality. The reality, how others achieve their own. Why can't we? We have done the same thing from time immemorial. The only person who changed what we have been doing is Master Simon Ekpa Njoku, true of us. He is the one who changed this movement. Except that, what have we been doing in the past? Gather a place, call it IPOB meeting. After when we are going, we drink, sometimes we eat, we go back home, we contribute dues. That is what we've been doing. Until Simon Ekpa now merge and give us what it takes to have a new country. That is why we must stand on this mandate. Now that we have official declaration, the time has come for it to be told. The time has come for us to follow who know the road as we are following already. I want you to know that everything about these new 21st century laws, moreover 2026 has been out. The world has letting us to know that they do not want to anymore, armed struggle, that they are no longer using military to identify sovereignty. Lie. That if you are doing that, they see you as a rebel, and that you are violating the right of the international community, that they will come after you. Please like and share the program. If you're just joining us, there is a 3 dot in front of you. Click on that 3 dot. You will see like and share. Here we are few because we don't do saga any here. We don't talk about any human being, because that is not, we are past that stage. When I already know that there is no amount of their propaganda will stop what we are doing. There is no amount of their propaganda that is going to stop what we are doing. So why should they be afraid? There is no amount of propaganda of America's citizens who never want America as a country. It did not stop America from being a country. There is no amount of people of Namibia who hand banned, who supported South Africa to stop Namibia to become a country. It doesn't stop them. There is no amount of the red Finland people who never want Finland to be a country. The amount of their pressure, amount of their sabotage did not stop Finland being a country today. So every country in this world has rebel, has those who was talking down on the movement of them to become a country. The truth remains, does not stop it anywhere. And none of all these things will stop us. That is why for me, I look at those things that we should, our government should do like other countries that give them recognition. They said no more armed struggle. Do you know that Somaliland was being delayed because of the armed struggle they went in for so years, fighting war? Do you know that Northern Cyprus refused to recognize because of they went into true armed struggle after their declaration? The world said that they want legal, we want diplomatic, we want political movement, we want social media pressure, like what we are pressuring UN for them to know that they are the one causing all these killings today that's happening in all over the countries in the world today. UN is the cause of all this. Let's continue. I have given to you that Kosovo was declared in Serbia 2008. And nobody has organized them till today as international. But the country that the way they went in to sit as another man's country refused to organize them. People of Russia, Serbia, and China refused to recognize Kosovo as a country because of their interest is not there. This is another country again. The same 2008.
Abkhazia and South Ossetia, 2008. These regions broke away from Georgia with Russian military support.
Do you hear it? They broke away from Georgia with Russian military support. Only few countries like Russia, Venezuela recognized them as independent. Do you see that?
A few countries like Russia, Nicaragua, and Venezuela recognize them as independent.
Do you know why many countries refuse to recognize them? Because they use armed struggle. Because they violated international law. That is how. If these people are not important, who will give us recognition is them. Use this word I'm telling you right now to bring, if you are listening to one of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu comments, he told us that Biafra will come from diaspora. Diaspora is what's giving recognition. If it is not important, why is Somaliland was being happy once Israel recognized them? The recognition is out of a pity and a choice and interest of a country who want to recognize us. This is a pure truth. This is a pure truth. We will be on Israel. We also say we are on this legal aspect before they will come. The time where we are going to be knocking woto before you buy, the time has gone. Do you know why Namibia got recognition very fast? Because before the time of the declaration, they stopped their military activities 8 months before they go and make the declaration. And that is why after the declaration, they could be able to achieve recognition under 1 month. Remember that. Have a talk of your mind. We must continue.
3. Unsuccessful or frozen attempts. These movements either failed to gain control of the land or have no international recognition at all. Somaliland has functioned as an independent, stable democracy since 1991, breaking from Somalia, but 0 countries officially recognize it as a state. Catalonia, 2017, held a referendum and declared independence from Spain. The international community almost unanimously supported Spain's territorial integrity, and the leaders of the movement were arrested or fled. Kurdistan.
That is why when you said that this sword of UN Charter must be called for amendment, it must be submitted because this law is contradicted. This law speaks from both sides of their mouth. When people use their law to move, they will draw them back. Why are we talking about that USB has gone through that way? Because They said in this 21st century that going through that way will give us recognition. That is why we adopted it. That is why I am so happy that the government of USB adopted this law of 2026 without even knowing it. No more armed struggle. No more armed struggle. They will have a phone call. Let us see who is there. Ompa, Choi.
Good day.
Good
morning from my side.
Good afternoon from here. Good evening from here. In fact, it's evening here. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And I thank all people that are listening today. I have been listening and learning, but I want to ask more questions so that we proceed. I'm still listening.
Okay.
Why is it international law stronger than my local law in Biafra land, that they have to control what I will do? Why don't, if I decide to form an army or men on ground, as we know, to fight for my freedom, why do the international law have to control me more than the law I have on my own side? Thank you for the question.
Thank you so much for that. It's very simple to answer based on the requirements or things I already find out. Before, you cannot be one country alone and you think that you have maintained being a country by yourself. You can't give yourself, you can declare a country by yourself, claiming that you're a country on your own. Then for you to have access, for your passport, for your currency to move, make headway in the world, you must submit under the international law, because they are the one controlling World Bank, IMF, and all the internal movement of any country in the world. That is why the question could have been, why did they form UN? And that every country must be a member of the UN, that if you are not a member, that you are not existed. They see you as a country of your own, that you are not going to be part of the international global country movement. So simply mean that there is a general law that controls countries in the world, so you will not do otherwise. Now, when you are a country of your own, you choose your own law to govern yourself. The law will not push you to the international community. Rather, you have to endorse international community to become their member. Like when you are a person, you want to enter a group, the law of the group controls you instead of your own law coming to control those groups. This is how you work. When you enter an organization, even on WhatsApp group, there is a law. Some people will say, do not post. In normal right, you have your phone. Those who post enter your phone and you accepted it and you read. But you cannot post unless they allow you to do that. All these common things is what we need to imply in what we are doing. Then that way we need to understand the important law. And remember, because of this lack of international law, that is why Biafra fell in 1960 to 1970. Because there is no member of the UN who recognizes us. Have you asked yourself, why did Somaliland, after being a country all these years, is now that Israel, as the member of the UN, of the international community, organize them, they are celebrating? See, the power of international law is supersede every other thing, because when the road becomes dark, they are the one everybody is coming into to help us. I hope you got my answer. You mute your mic.
Yes, another one. Yeah, I got your answer. And that I hope my fellow Biafrans who are listening, who are dedicated for this cause of redemption or freedom, will understand with me. I want to ask again, as we have declared Biafra, which you mentioned that we are on the ring line, I heard when your friend or the voice you are playing said that Biafra had been declared on the 29th of November 2024. which is confirmed. Now, Biafran, after the declaration, have formed or have found some allies. Do we have to take that advantage to start doing anything because we have allies that support our declaration without waiting for international community or international law?
Thank you for that wonderful question. The number one answer I want to start from giving is this. Those that are leading United States of Biafra, who know the quality of allies we have, if ally is enough for us to be doing anyhow we want, they don't need to register the movement under the Department of Justice of America to monitor the Biafra movement. Why we don't have to do that is that because of that, people of Somaliland start their movement 1981. 1991, they make their official declaration. After they made their declaration, they think that they would be the ally that's supporting them. When they go back to Nakwo, to Somalia, they thought that the ally is going to trigger them to get recognition very well. Now, who did they? Let me introduce you to Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. When Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu declared Biafra 1967, under 1 year, countries like Kosovo, Tanzania, and the other 2 countries or 3 that recognized Biafra, then they come. If that was enough for him to do anyhow, why did Biafra fail? Biafra fails, like what I said before, there is no international recognition. And anybody who wants to recognize us, we look at how we create ourselves and how we are moving. Now, coming back to the question after this illustration, I also want you to see it in this way again. Why did Kosovo till today never got recognition? Because of they did anyhow. Why? Because of people of Northern Cyprus did not get recognition, because they do anyhow they like. Turkey are the one controlling Northern Cyprus till today. They have declared are going to over 40 years to today. But because of the law of anyhow, they think that after the declaration, they have what to do anyhow. What happened? They said no to them. Nobody has recognized them as a country. So we, because of allies,
we have allies like Biafra have now.
they have more than allies, more than us, because of their passport is going everywhere, but our own is not going anywhere for now. Do you know that the Kosovo, that over something country, allow their passport to go? That is ally. Ally is those who allows you to travel with your document in their country. So they have more than us. But because of the present action, because of they said that they violated the international law through violence, that is why up to today, everywhere still remains silent on their side. When I want to ask you before, why did Somaliland now rejoicing after 34 years? Do they not have allies? They have. They say that they are a stable country. What happened today after December 26 or 2025 that Israel organized them is when you see celebration everywhere in the social media that Somaliland has become a member, has got international recognition for the first time after 34 years. Now that the world has introduced no law, they said no more doing anyhow, no more doing it the way we want, because they are in charge. Why did Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu say that Biafra will come from diaspora? Diaspora is what gives recognition, that makes you a state. They said you can never become fully country until you grab international recognition. And if you go into armed struggle, that they will deny you, they will remain silent, like the way they remain on the side of Northern Cyprus, Kosovo, Somaliland, despite 2025, that Israel finally decided to do that for them. Jews are doing anyhow, or the way we think, cannot give us recognition. It must be on that principle they have already thrown out. They are in charge. Not you, not me. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. What are my responsibilities and the Biafran's responsibility to make sure that this awareness of recognition gets to the stronger proclamation or stronger revenue to
Yes.
attract international community.
Like what we are doing here right now, when you go to any page, try to let the world know how Nigeria is being treating us. Always continue using that word, remedial secession, external. That those things that makes America today to sanction Nigeria is what under they tell you, let UN know that what they said, that when you first disappearance of your people, denial on several positions in the present country, abuse of rights, intimidation, inhuman right treatment, that you are facing all these things, that you are maintaining the law of them by saying through remedial secession of external. That is why we move to make declaration. If this law is working for everybody, they must bend down to look at the Biafran declaration and the given organization so we can go. What you need to do, one, is to continue putting pressure in the social media. Number two, you must go and fund to support your government because money is involved in this movement. Now, in this 2026, they have changed the law. They said, if you are looking for a new country, that if you believe in military, that we are going to see you as a violent group. But if you believe in legal, diplomatic, political pressure, that they are going to answer you. I give you an example. People of Namibia, 1990, before they will go to declaration of their new country, what happened? They stopped armed struggle 8 months before their declaration. That is why after 1 month, they was be able to grab the recognition very fast. Even UN recognized them very fast. After 1 month, they achieve it. I give you also an example of America. They also got their own after a year and 6 months because of level of piping law and got recognition from Israel, from France. After Morocco recognized them, what happened? In that conquest of them, then once a powerful country like France organized them, they have agreement with France to give them equipment to chase away. That international recognition is a backup when you can do anyhow, because a member of the UN has recognized you as a sovereign state. That is how it goes.
So, do you mean if one country or two countries recognize us, that I can start with a maximum pass?
Yes, because
I
one,
can start my
let me give you an example that does not come from me. You remember the man from Austria, chairman of NATO from Austria or Australia, who
Yes.
says America recognize Biafra, give them equipment to defend their land. Do you understand that word? The recognition of any of these powerful countries in the world gives you automatically, if Nigeria refuses to leave, for them to back you up, then you can be able to chase them away in your territory. This is how it goes.
I will wait for that time to read. So, Veterans all over the world listen to this interesting and educative conversation and the sharing in the intelligence of our Jaffa TV, who are opportune and privileged to be partaker of being a free man. There's nothing like freedom. When you enter where you are not supposed to be, is that time you know what is called freedom. Or if you go to hospital and you see people who have been in the hospital for years or for months, then you know the importance of being healthy. When you go to the cemetery where they bury, you know that this life means nothing. So with these three experiences we have in life, freedom is the most important thing. Having money, having wealth, maybe even having children, or being self-confident is not enough or is not compared to freedom. You can have all these things, but you are not free. You are not free. You are under still a wicked policy and a system. And without getting out from this wicked system and policy, which we are Biafrans in Nigeria, you are not free, despite anything you have. I know many people will be looking at all these people that have money, throwing money here and there. Throwing money here and there. Throwing money here and there, building castles, building mountains, building a banana village. It is not enough. It is not called freedom. It is not called freedom. Those things can pass away, but freedom never passes away. Freedom is steady, just like contract. The only thing that has is contract in this world is change. So, my fellow Biafrans, let us unite together. Let us come back to our senses and forget about individuals. Forget about individuals. Don't talk about individuals. Don't talk about me. Talk about your freedom first. When you get this freedom, then you can remember me. And how do we do that? I am being provoked. Yeah, I am entering into Iwe and Oroma. And that will make me to go to the extent for looking for my freedom. I want to thank you, our brother. Continue your lecture. You are bringing new dimension to the Biafran freedom. And one thing I'm understanding from you is that the Secretary of Foreign Affairs Minister or the Secretary of Homeland and Security Department or even our COS, Dr. Ngozo Rebeze, DPM, is getting it right.
100%
They are
right.
getting it right.
100%.
Yes. So thank you for that confirmation. In that case, Eba Kodugwini Kukuchia and other secret
Movement.
donors.
Yes. Not secret donors and movement. Yes.
Yes, other secret donors and supporters, both even in subscribe, sharing, like, and the donation, or even super chat. You are fighting the same cause. Then the people who are talking, like people are in the media, even they don't even mind that the government did not call them. They are not working for government. They are independent. They call themselves independent media, presenting truth against lies, presenting a fresh narrative against the old world. We are hearing 2026 that laws, how they do it in 2025, have changed.
Yes.
So we must adapt to that changing in 2026. Don't go back on what is happening or what happened in 2025. In 2029, I carried flag. Now we are Biafra from family. 2020 the same thing, 2021 the same thing. Then at the bridge of 2022, Simon Ekpa came with a new dimension. Then we started knowing that we cannot get all these things unless we became a government. Because we don't have the capacity of becoming a government in homeland, we formed a government in exile. We started talking to them and they started hearing us because we are now a government, not organization, not club, not a good, what do you call it? Age group, not a party, not individual. We formed a government, which is what do I call it? Which is a right. It is a right now to talk to another government.
Yes.
And they hear us as government, not as an organization. In that government, when we claim Biafra, that organization can exist But it will be inside Biafra, not inside the Nigeria state we want to go out. This is the problem many people don't understand. Organization of IPOB may be in Biafra and maybe become a party in Biafra, not in Nigeria. And the organization does not give freedom. So Simon Ekpa bring that narrative and we join it. Today, with that narrative, the Biafran government in exile, we said we need to have a redeclaration. I say, he say, yes. I say, what does that mean? He say, we have to form referendum. And I voted. After voting, he said, we have to have a date. He know that date, the Biafra will be coming. I say, he said, we know that day and the time. He said, are you sure? I say, yes. Come on 29th November 2024. And if I'm coming, that I should bear in mind that Biafra will be declared before that day depends on how Nigeria is behaving to us. So I say, he told me yes. Then I came. On the 29th, I didn't see Simon. Because they say, okay, if Simon is not here, I am here. The whole world wants you to hear us. We are declaring henceforth that the 40th state of Biafra shall henceforth be called United States of Biafra. No, even my son will claim not that we can, Biafran. I told him that I used to say yes. Okay, I say okay. I signed my signature. I signed my signature. So go ahead. I cannot put on it. He said that we have a judge. What do you call her name? Jane.
Jane, yeah. Jane,
our attorney for United States say, I want to affirm this declaration. I say I want to affirm it. Our attorney, Jane, signed it. Then that day I know that I am free. I became free. I became free. I became a sovereign nation. If you don't understand it, if you declare who you are, that day, that thing become your name. When we declare Biafra, I became a sovereign nation. I became a sovereign. I became my own. I can now have my ID card. I can now have my passport. I can now have my bank. I can now have my own money. This is sovereignty. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You make the program. You bring life to the program. Thank you. He said, thank you. Thank you. You're wonderful. Thank you. Yes, my people. We cannot continue depending on the lies and the thinking that we are changing the narrative within our common understanding. No. You had it here. Believe on that truth that will set all of us free. The government of the USB stand on the legal movement of the new world laws, proving that they don't longer need to vote. And I prove it to you again today that you can be in another country, declares another country, declare your own country. You had it here. People of Kosovo has done it. Many has done it in the past. So we're not going to be the first, neither are we going to be the last. What we'll do here is when it comes, we throw it out. So, and I want you to know that your government is doing everything to make sure that we go home. Our going home is being reassured that we must go home. So, the declaration is where we stand on. And nobody. I asked this question as my brother is talking on my researcher. How can international law and legal is going to help University of Biafra to achieve recognition and we go back to homeland? Listen to this.
The redeclaration of the United States of Biafra, USB, on November 29, 2024, in Lahti, Finland, is a significant political event for the Biafran movement. To understand how international law and legal processes might help or hinder this cause, we have to look at the gap between a declaration, saying you are a country, and recognition, others agreeing you are a country. Here is an analysis of how international law applies to the 2024 USB Declaration. 1. The legal foundation, self-determination. The USB's primary legal argument rests on the right to self-determination, which is enshrined in the UN Charter, Article 1, recognizes the right of peoples to determine their own political status. The African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Article 20, explicitly states that all peoples have the unquestionable and inalienable right to self-determination. The challenge, international law usually interprets this as internal self-determination, having a voice within the existing country. External self-determination, secession, is typically only supported by the international community in cases of extreme human rights violations or a total breakdown of the parent state's ability to protect its citizens. 2. The self-referendum and evidence of will. The Biafra Republic Government in Exile, BRGIE, conducted a self-referendum throughout 2024, reporting over 50 million participants. How it helps. Under international law, evidence of a popular will is crucial. If the movement can prove to international bodies, like the UN or the ICJ, that a distinct ethnic group is being systematically excluded or oppressed, the referendum serves as a legal exhibit of the people's desire. The barrier, for a referendum to be legally binding on the world stage, it usually needs to be monitored by neutral international observers and recognized by the parent state, Nigeria. 3. The Montevideo Criteria, statehood. To be treated as a legal state, the USB must demonstrate the 4 pillars of the 1933 Montevideo Convention. 1. Permanent population. The USB claims 80+ million people. 2. Defined territory. The USB map includes 40 proposed states. 3. Functioning government, currently operating as a government in exile. 4. Capacity to enter relations, signing treaties or trade deals. Legal reality. The most difficult pillar for the USB is effective control. International law rarely recognizes a government that does not physically control the territory it claims. Currently, Nigeria maintains administrative and military control over the region. 4. The path to international recognition. For the USB to move from a declaration to a recognized country, it would likely need to pursue several legal and diplomatic avenues. Remedial secession, arguing that the Nigerian state has failed to protect.
They have to pursue what? Diplomatic, not military. Not that we're not going to have a military. They will be on ground, holding the ground by the way it is right now, putting calmness. But if the Nigerian government move to attack them in their camp, they will revenge. If they come to kill our people with evidence, they will come out if they have the information and counter with them in our own territory, in this 40 states. But the most important to chase is what? Diplomatic, legal, political, and the media pressure. These are the areas are very important this time around. They are telling us how this law, how international can help us, because they are the one that giving recognition. Israel giving Somaliland recognition. It is what? International.
Protect the Biafran people to such an extent that independence is the only remedy left. This requires filing documented evidence of human rights abuses with the UN Human Rights Council. Third-party recognition, seeking formal recognition from pivot nations. While the USB points to historical recognition by nations like Tanzania and Zambia in 1967, it would need new official diplomatic cables from current governments to regain status. International Court of Justice, ICJ. While a group cannot easily sue a country in the ICJ, they can lobby friendly UN member states to request an advisory opinion, similar to the Kosovo case, on the legality of their specific declaration. Current status and next steps. The Nigerian government views the November 29th declaration as an illegal act of secession and has worked with international authorities, including the detention of movement leaders in Finland, to suppress it. What I can do for you. Would you like me to research the specific human rights reports or UN petitions currently being filed by Biafran representatives to see how they are framing their legal case to the world?
Are you hearing it? If you want to get this particular aspect now, then I will send this message. It will come. The movement of Biafra has been documented. It is in many platforms, many apps. It is in the archive. It is 7 in the Guinness World Record book. It is everywhere in many apps that are there to tell you the movement, right? It's no many things that the government is doing is not hindering. That is why I want you to know that we are going home, because the government follows the legal. Now, then look at all they have been said here. Is it not what the government is doing? And you are waiting for what? You are there waiting for what? You are there talking trash from your mouth and listening to garbage. Those who don't know the road to the freedom. Those who cannot write petition that will go to UN. And you are following them. You share their program. You listen to them. You call them. Thank for him by destroying you. I want to leave you with Finland history. This will judge you, and if you have a conscience. Yes, we are on the right track. On the right track, Emmanuel. That's, in fact, you put it very well. I will want to close this program. I want to play the movement of Finland to you between red and white. Those who was castigating the white people and their action. I will play it to the end, so you will hear how Finland started and how it ended. How Finland started and how it ended, and what happened to the Finland. When we are saying it, you think it's a child's play. Continue being rebel and continue listening to those who never want to be as their country. Listen to the movement of Finland as a country today. Listen.
The rebellion you are referring to is known as the Finnish Civil War, which took place in 1918. It was a brief but incredibly violent conflict that decided whether Finland would become a socialist state or a democratic republic. The war was fought between two main factions, the Reds and the Whites. 1. The two sides. The conflict was essentially a battle over the soul of a newly independent Finland, which had declared independence from Russia just months earlier in December 1917. Feature. The Reds, Punaiset, the Whites, Valkoiset. Who they were: working class, landless laborers, and socialist activists, middle class, landowners, and the conservative elite. Ideology. Inspired by the Russian Bolsheviks, wanted a socialist revolution. Nationalist and conservative, wanted to maintain social order. External support. Received weapons, and some limited support from Soviet Russia, supported by Imperial Germany and Finnish Jägers, trained in Germany. Leader. Various socialist leaders, e.g., Kalevo Mana, General C.G.E. Mannerheim. 2. How the rebellion happened. The war began on January 27, 1918. It wasn't just one rebellion, but a simultaneous explosion of tension. The Red Coup. In the south, the Red Guards seized control of Helsinki and other major industrial cities. They declared a, quote, Finnish Socialist Workers' Republic. The White response. At the same time, the White Guards, officially recognized by the Senate, began disarming Russian garrisons in the north to clear the country of foreign troops and suppress the Red movement. The country was effectively split in half, the Red South, industrial and urban, and the White North, rural and agrarian. 3. Why the Whites won. The war lasted only about 3.5 months, ending in May 1918. Several factors led to the White victory. 1. Professional leadership. The Whites had General Mannerheim and the Jägers, 2,000 Finnish volunteers who had received professional military training in Germany. 2. German intervention. In April 1918, a German division landed in southern Finland, capturing Helsinki and attacking the Reds from the rear. 3. Organization. While the Reds had numbers, they lacked the military discipline and unified command structure that the Whites possessed. 4. The aftermath. The terror. The war is remembered for its extreme bitterness. Both sides engaged in terror, the execution of prisoners and civilians. Red Terror. Roughly 1,600 people were killed by Reds. White Terror. After the victory, the Whites executed roughly 10,000 Reds. Furthermore, about 13,000 more died in crowded, disease-ridden prison camps. Legacy. Despite the bloodbath, Finland managed a remarkable recovery. By 1919, they established a democratic republic, and over the following decades, they worked hard on social reforms, like land redistribution, to heal the divide. This unity was eventually proven when both former Reds and Whites fought together against the Soviet Union in the Winter War of 1939. Would you like to know more about the specific battles, like the Battle of Tampa, or how General Mannerheim became a national hero?
I hope you listen carefully. People like Kadade Orama, there was in Finland, there are people, they are the one that tag Red Finland. People like IPOB organization, they want the tag Red Finland. People of fallback, those that never want the declaration to succeed, those who attack the government, those who make declaration, those who attack the man who made the declaration of Finland as a country. You had it here. So what we are passing today has happened many places. The question you do had it here that those who made this declaration, who hold that document of declaration, when Finland, when Germany come to help, that Germany stand on the side of those that make declaration, not those who are casgetting, not those that can go about Fulani, go to Bor. No, he doesn't spoil anything because in the past has happened. The woman who are leading Namibia today in the past, they called her terrorist. People of Namibia open their mouth, call this woman terrorist. The woman that made the declaration of Namibia 1990, the woman that pronounced that Namibia will be a country. That's it. But there is no kind of name that is not called her. So you think you are tagging yourself on the line of the rebel in Finland, the Red Finland people who refuse that Finland will not be a country, stand on their own, who want a country under Russia, like Wazirike wants Biafra under Nigeria. The history is there. What we are passing today, people has gone. That is why I told you, when you look at all that is going on today, be courageous in your mind that you are on the right track. Let's listen more about Finland and the red and the white. That is where we find ourselves today. Calculate all these people who refuse this declaration, that they are insulting, they open their mouth to insult our declaration and calling to USB charger. They all are in the line of Red Finland.
In the history of the Finnish Civil War, 1918, the relationship with Russia was the primary dividing line between the two factions.
Do you hear it? The interest, the relationship with Russia was what primarily divide Finland into two. They have red and white. Those who agree, we don't want Finland, want to be under Russia at all. Those who say no, we must be there. Those who had even those that inside the declaration, from there they kick out and start fighting against the declaration and said, we don't have to do that. We have to wait. We have to be there. We're under Russia. We have to be this, and like what these four people are claiming today. It has happened in the past, and it has happened right now. I am playing this for you to use to ask yourself, judge yourself.
What answer is, the Reds were supported by Russia, while the Whites fought to remove Russian influence.
Okay.
1. The Reds, supported by Soviet Russia. The Reds, the socialist and working class movement, were the faction aligned with Russia, specifically the new Bolshevik government led by Vladimir Lenin. Ideology. They shared the revolutionary goals of the Russian Bolsheviks and wanted to turn Finland into a socialist state. Military aid. Soviet Russia provided the Reds with trains full of weapons, ammunition, and artillery. Troops.
Do you hear it? The Russia that the white people are fighting to live supplies equipment to the Red. The same way they are supplying money to buy IPOB, fallback, and all these other their group. The inconsequential human beings. Those are the Red Finland people who refuse the declaration and be insulting the man who declared it.
At the start of the war, there were still about 30,000 to 40,000 Russian soldiers stationed in Finland from World War I. While many remained neutral or deserted, several thousand Russian volunteers, including the Black Guard of sailors, fought alongside the Finnish Reds. Political goal. Although Lenin officially recognized Finland's independence, he actively encouraged the Finnish Reds to revolt, hoping Finland would eventually join a larger union of Soviet republics. 2. The Whites. Anti-Russian. War of liberation. The Whites, conservatives and the middle class, viewed the conflict not just as a civil war, but as a war of independence, Vaposota, to finally break free from Russia. Hostility toward Russia. The Whites saw the Russian troops in Finland as an occupying force and a source of Bolshevik infection. One of their first major actions was to disarm Russian garrisons in northern Finland. Their leader, General C.G.E. Mannerheim, had ironically been a high-ranking officer in the Russian Imperial Army for 30 years. However, he was a staunch anti-communist and was determined to stop the spread of the Russian Revolution into Finland. German support. Because the Whites were fighting against Russian influence, they turned to Imperial Germany for help. Germany sent an entire division of troops, the Baltic Sea Division, to help the Whites win the war. Summary comparison. The Reds, Puneset. The Whites, Valquaset. View of Russia, seen as a brotherly revolutionary ally. Seen as a foreign oppressor/Bolshevik threat. Supporter, Soviet Russia, Bolsheviks. Imperial Germany. The Russian factor. Relied on Russian weapons and volunteers. Aimed to kick all Russian soldiers out of Finland. Interesting fact, even though the Reds were supported by Russia, many Red leaders were actually quite nationalistic. They wanted a socialist Finland, but they were often wary of being completely absorbed or controlled by the Russian Bolsheviks. Would you like to know more about what happened to the Russian soldiers who were captured by the Whites after the war?
I hope I don't want to explain anything, so you won't say I add my word. Use, because you are understanding English very well. Judge yourself with this movement of red and white Finland. Those who hate those who make declaration, calling them out of names, calling them agent of. Do you know that this one was the one calling this white people agent of Russia? Why they are the one that Russia is being sponsoring?
The Whites, the conservative bourgeois government, were the ones who made the formal Declaration of Independence for Finland. While the declaration happened before the Civil War officially broke out, the leaders who signed
after the declaration, that is when this conflict started. The conflict of Ogun, and all of them is not about declaration. When the white people make this declaration, after that, conflict started. The conflict begins, like what we're passing through today. Judge yourself.
And it were the same men who would lead the white side just a few weeks later. The timeline of independence. December 4th, 1917. The Finnish Senate, led by Per Evan Svinhufvud, who would become a key leader of the white side, presented the declaration to Parliament. December 6th, 1917. The Finnish Parliament officially approved the declaration. This is why December 6th is celebrated as Finland's Independence Day. January 1918. The Civil War began shortly after. Why the Whites did it? The white leadership, conservatives, liberals and landowners, wanted a clean break from Russia. They were terrified of the chaos of the Russian Revolution and wanted to establish a stable, non-socialist independent state. The Reds' position. The Reds, Social Democrats and labor unions, also supported the idea of independence, but they were in a difficult position. 1. Shared ideology. They were closely tied to the Russian Bolsheviks, Lenin. 2. Different strategy. They wanted a socialist independence. They actually voted against the specific white-led declaration in Parliament because they wanted to negotiate the terms of independence with the Russian Bolsheviks first, rather than declaring it unilaterally. 3. Recognition. Ironically, when Svinhufvud, the white leader, went to Russia to get independence,
this way they asked them to stop the declaration because they want to go and be patronized and have some with Russia first. So Russia will give them condition like IPOB who want to go to Nigeria for self-referendum.
Recognized. It was Vladimir Lenin, the ally of the Finnish Reds, who signed the document recognizing Finland as a free nation. Summary. The Whites drafted and passed the declaration, while the Reds were largely sidelined during the process, eventually launching their rebellion in January 1918 because they were unhappy with how the new white government was running the country. Would you like to know more about the Senate of Independence, or how the Russian Bolsheviks reacted to the White Declaration?
You are angry because a woman declares Biafra. The Red were angry because of what? A white man declares Finland as a country. Look at the comparison. You see what is happening here today. The same envy, jealousness, hatred is what killed Finland. The same is what is happening to us today. But look at it the way it is. Those whites that make declaration with the authentic documents are the one who get recognition from countries in the world, not the red. So, if you are against declaration of USB, ask yourself where you belong. Take your hand and put yourself where you belong. The only thing I'm giving all these things out is for you to know there is no amount of your sabotage, there is no amount of you being rebel will stop recognition once it is a due time for that to come. The world will say that we know that after declaration that people will start cattering against the declaration that those are rebel. That is where you belong. The one of Finland started after their declaration. When they never made declaration, there was no war. Like fall back, Randos and all of them today, you are seeing. Is it not after our declaration you see all these things? That is the truth I want you to know. That is the pure truth that I want you to know. I hope you learn something from here. As I said, I will not explain it. Explain it by yourself and ask where do I belong? Why am I among those who are fighting against declaration, calling USB? Asking, you declare a country but not sovereignty. No, you don't control military. You don't control your territory. All are in the past, not in this present future. In this 21st century, there is nothing like that. It does no longer exist again. That is my message to you today. So, I thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all once again. Thank you. May Elohim continue to bless you, protect you, and guide you as you continue supporting the movement of the United States of Biafra. This message, people don't like it because of the way it's been, but that's what I think at this time that I need us to know the truth and to know what is happening to us, that some histories are repeating. And we will not achieve this Biafra without some of those histories repeated in our own time. That is the pure truth. So I thank you for being here. So I thank you for being here. Once we got recognition, Mazda is coming out very soon. Simon very soon. They are all coming out. It's going to be like a film to you. It's going to happen because you don't know the value of this declaration. That is also why I'm giving you countries that made their own and how it works and how everything is going to be possible for us. From me, from here, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Until we see you again tomorrow morning.